Good morning, everybody. Well, I was playing around last night with the dies again, and it's not going to be in this video, it'll be in my next one, but I have made, I don't know if you can see that, it's a big box. I have actually figured out, I'm going to have to try, there we go, not very well angled this morning, am I, with my camera? It's just a very skew-whiff. Yes, I managed to make a hexagon box which is going to fit, and I've left all the dies in the other room, but it's going to fit your flip flat book, the one that Jodie made. It's going to fit that in there, and I'm sure there are 1,000,001 ways to make a hexagon box. I'm sure there's 1,000,001 tutorials on the internet, but I love using what I already have, you see, because I have lots of Tonic products, and I've managed to make it using the biggest die from this set. So I thought what I would do is do a tutorial on that, on how to make it, and believe me, it's actually really quite simple. It's not difficult, and it's going to look so pretty. So what I'll do is I'm going to decorate that tonight. I'm going to decorate the box, and then, because obviously I just need to find out the sizes of all the panels for you, and then I'll come back tomorrow and I'll show you how to make this box. Like I say, I think there'll probably be 1,000,001 tutorials on the internet of how to make hexagon boxes, but I just was, I was aware that I had all these other, you know, hexagon, like the frame dies, and I thought, could I do this myself? And I thought, yes, why not? Right, so we're going to do our next page in our book. I'm keeping these quite simple at the moment for everybody, because I think the book itself is quite big, especially if you are a beginner. It's good to keep it nice and simple at the moment, and then once we get going we can start doing a few more sort of difficult pages. But I loved, and do you know what, I'm actually going to quickly run in and get the dies. Sorry, excuse me. Just had to run next door and just quickly go and pick up the die set, because I want you to know what I'm using as well, because that would be really helpful, wouldn't it? Yes, excuse me, I thought it would be nice to start simple, and then, you know, maybe as we go along we can get a little bit more adventurous with what we're doing. So what I'm doing actually now is just backing this, because these papers, these are really flimsy papers from my stash, and because they're so flimsy I'm just backing this onto another bit of card, because we're working on the base. So when you're working on the base outside of your book, because Jodie always advises, and it's very, very true, to work off your book, so that if you do make any mistakes, you haven't made a mistake within your book, so you haven't ruined the whole book. And it's the best bit of advice ever. She's absolutely spot on. It's the best bit of advice. So never work in your book. That's why we're always working on the bases. I'm just really repeating what Jodie has said. Maybe if you've not managed to see her videos yet, but they are on the internet, so you will see them. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I seem to be waking up with a really froggy throat. So we're working on our base layer, the base layer that will eventually be stuck into the book. So this is our base layer. So it is the second, let's show you, it's the second die, your layering die. So that's our pages in our book. Those are the size of the pages, and that's the base we're working on outside of the book. Where are we? There we go. Outside of the book. So that's what this one is. That's your base set. I know I might be repeating myself, but I'm aware that some people might have not seen the first tutorials. So what I have done, and the book, I'm just looking at it, will be going this way. What I have done is I have cut, I have cut a die this way and this way. Oh, here we go, this way and this way. Now that is the first, let's get you the die in here. So bring the die in here. Sorry, that is the second one of the pages that do not cut. Okay, that's this size for this one. Can you see that? That's better. And we're leaving our edges on this time because we're going to be making a flip and a flap. I do apologise again. I always wake up with this awful throat. It's been horrendous. It's like a cold that's never come. Right, so that is how we're going to make a flap. So let's just go ahead and stick our decoration on. Now I'm keeping it this way. This is a good tip, is to keep them, when you're working off them, is to keep them as you are having. So you keep looking at your book and then you keep having them how they will be, and then that will help you. It really, really will. It's quite a good tip, really, because you do need to know where you're working with this book. So on our first flap, as it were, we've got our lovely edged side, haven't we? And we've got the opposite side. Now, I haven't used a very heavy GSM. Oh, I do apologise for my throat. So I'm backing this. Well, you would back it anyway because you want it to look completely uniformed on each side. And obviously, the more and more layers you're putting onto your book, the more weight you're putting into it. So you would have used 300 GSM for these bits, 300 GSM for your bases. Then once you start layering, then you can go down a size. So we're going to just pop that on the back, and this is just to neaten it, make it look neat, reinforce everything that's there. So you've got a nice platform, as it were, to work on. So I've decided to go, and we're doing it simple, with just a simple pocket. And like I say, my paper is quite flimsy, so just be mindful. Really, you're definitely going to need at least a 200 GSM when you're doing all these pockets. I think this paper is so thin, but you get the idea of it. But you will be using at least a 200 to do these pockets. So that is a tip again. So I'm going to pop that this way, because so we're just popping it in the middle. You can see, nice and neat. And we're going to have that flat. You could have another pocket there, okay? You could have had a pocket in here. I'm keeping it nice and flat, just literally because I'm using a very thin paper. But if you wanted a pocket, again, you would glue these sides, 1, 2, 3, especially if you're putting a hexagon in there. If you're going to put something flat that's the same size as that, then obviously you could glue right up to the edge if you were putting something straight inside there. But if you are putting hexagons in there, remember you're only gluing up to there. So this is my pocket, and this is how it will work. We're going to run our glue along the edge. All I've done is cut down half of the hexagon to make this pocket. So really, really easy and simple. And we're going to pop that over our layer like so. Okay, so that's simple and easy, very, very easy to make a pocket where you can slot things into. Okay, so that's your first pocket, but just to give it a little bit more decoration, and I'm aware that's going on that side, it might be a little bit skew-whiff with this. We're going to put a nice little bird, so I'm keeping it all uniformed. You see, I'm keeping it all uniformed. So we're only going to want to put our glue up to the middle. Can we see that? We're not going to want to put our glue all the way up. And I'm hoping I haven't put that too far down. So That's where we want it. Okay, so we're just lining that up. There we go. I'm just bringing it up actually because I just didn't want it to stick on the back piece of paper. Now you're, like I say, going to use a much stronger weight of card. You're going to use at least a 200 for that. And then, there we go. And then, like I say, this is a lovely pocket. Now I'm keeping these quite plain, and the reason as well I'm keeping these quite plain is because I really like these papers. Actually, and you'll probably do that because some of you will have been lucky enough to get the Tonic pattern papers. You know, if you were lucky enough to get these pattern papers, I have to put that one on that side now, then you're going to probably do the same as what I've done as well, and think, oh, I like that, don't want to ruin it. Excuse me. So we're going to do exactly the same as we've just done on the opposite side. Okay, so backing everything as we go, making sure that it's all neat, it's all tidy, that it's looking completely professional. And you know, if you're making these to sell them, then you want them, you know, you want them as professional as possible. You want all your lines to look clean. You want all your flaps to look, you know, nice and clean and uniformed. Now, be aware, like I say, where you're placing these, because I've just gone and done exactly what I've told you not to do. And that is be aware of where you're placing them. Now, I could have changed that, and I can't now. I just can't, can I? No, I'm not even going to attempt it. But do you see, this is where I'm making the mistakes where you're not going to. It might actually be beneficial if you are a beginner not to use pattern papers, because I've been doing these for a long time, and even I'm getting these a bit wonky. But it would have been better the other way around. Now, if I really was finicky, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I would cut this down. This is what I would go and do. I would, if you do that, I would cut this down to half, and I would cut another one of these, and I would change it so that it was that way. I might even do that. And that is, unfortunately, when you have complete OCD like I do, unfortunately, that's what happens. So you're going to line these up properly, okay? Do you understand? And I am going to change that around. I am going to do it. I'm going to do it. So there you go. These are little boo-boos that I'm making, and you're not going to do that, because you're going to do it all slowly. You're going to take your time with everything. Let's just make sure I know where I'm going with this, because we want that on this side and we want it looking uniformed. So this is where you've got to make sure you know. I could do it now. I can't do it that way, can we? See, this is the thing with this hexagon set, and as I'm doing it, it does look better that way, doesn't it? I'm going to do it that way. As I'm doing it, I'm learning with this set. I am learning. So, like I say, you won't make the mistakes I'm making, because I'm doing this, like I say, I have done this off the cuff. I haven't done a book first. Normally, I would work with these and then come and maybe do a tutorial. But like I say, I haven't worked with these, so I'm just doing it as I've got them. But it's not a bad thing. I think sometimes making mistakes is good, because sometimes when people do make the mistakes, then you're not going to do it. And I know I keep saying that, I keep repeating myself, but it is good. It is good. So line this up. There we go. Line that up nice and neat. So it's from, can you see that? It's from point to point on the line, okay? And there we have our pockets. I'm going to change that because it's going to drive me absolutely bazonkers if I don't change that way. Do you understand? If I don't change it, otherwise we've got that going that way. So I am going to go and change that, and you can watch me die cut. So we'll move that one out the way for the moment. So that's going to be our flip and our flap, right? Now we're going to have flips and flaps going across that way. So this is where lining your book is going to really help, because you're going to know exactly where you need to put everything. But we are going to do a magnet. We're going to do a magnet closure. These are for decoration. And this is where, like I say, I'm doing it. Can you actually see what I'm doing? You can. You can. Let's move this completely out of the way so you're not getting confused. And I think we did this again yesterday, didn't we? Right, which way is it? That's how we're going to want to do it. Right, so important to place everything down neatly first. All right, let's put those in there. So we're now going to bring our tape in, and we're doing exactly the same as what we did yesterday. So we're going to take 2 of our magnets, okay? There we go, 2. There we are, 2 of our magnets, which are closed together already. And we're going to take our tape. Where have I put my scissors? There they are. Going to take our red liner tape, and we're going to pop a bit of tape on the front on one side, and your magnets get stuck. And then turn it over and put a bit of tape on the opposite side. Now again, I'm sure there's lots of tutorials of people showing you how, but let's see if I can show you. Can you see we've got, I don't know if that's better actually without that. Can you see we've got the tape on that side and the tape on that side, and I've done it in a little cross, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to, I've got to make sure I know where this is going. So we've got one on top of the other, haven't we? Let's just do this. So one is going on top of the other. So you're wanting a magnet on here and a magnet on here. Okay, so your front piece, as it were. So let's get that first piece of tape off, and we're going to pop that in. Oh, there we go. We're going to pop that in, not too far at the front, okay, because you want to be able to still stick down your papers, stick down your layers. Then we're going to take the tape off of this side, okay, and this is where we're going to line up. Move that in, out the way. We're going to line up, make sure, oh, and we're also going to put glue in, because that would help, wouldn't it? Oh, I'm in a bit of a mare this morning. Do you know why? I think it's because I was so excited last night that I had made this hexagon box. I now can't wait to actually show you, to show you. Right, so we're going to line it up. Excuse me. No, we're not. What are you doing, Nikki? What on earth are you doing? I'm having a mare of a morning this morning. We're not going to do that at all. What a mare. What a mare. Wasn't that lucky? What am I doing this morning? I mean, that's just so ridiculous. What an idiot. Right, you're not going to put glue on it. You're going to line it up so that it's perfectly neat and perfectly straight. And then you're going to, yes, we'll do that. That will do. And then you're going to put your magnet down. Okay, so you've got one on one side, one on the other. dear, what a mare I'm having this morning. I think I'm tired. I think maybe I'm going to do these tutorials in the evening when I'm a little bit more awake. I think that might help. Right, so we're going to pop our pattern paper on the front, making sure it's nice and neat and straight. Okay, and then we're popping this one on here because these are both going on the front. Concentration. I can't believe I've made 2 boo-boos today. That's so funny. I mean, what on earth was I doing? You'll do this as you're crafting as well. You'll probably do and make the same mistakes as well. It's just, I think it's just, it's the hexagon shape as well. It's just that little bit more confusing. But like I say, I think once you work with these a bit more, then it will become much easier, I'm sure. Okay, so you will back yours. I haven't cut out a back here, but I will be honest with you, I actually have run out of grey card. I've actually run out, but you will back yours properly. You will cut down another layer for the back here so that it's all uniformed. Like I say, I'm going to be honest, I just literally ran out of grey card, you know, I ran out. So just one of those things, and I didn't want to wait. I thought, no, I'll come in and I will do the demos. Okay, so like I say, you will back yours here. I haven't because I just run out. So you will back yours there so it will look perfectly uniformed and neat. So we've got one that clicks onto the other. Okay, now I just thought as a nice extra feature, and it's only if you do have these, let's do it this way, it's going to be much quicker. If you do have these, then use them. They actually come out of the hexagon layering frame that was for the frames. These are little tiny, when you cut out the hexagons, you get these little tiny strips that just come out and they look so pretty. And I had some in, you know, that were left over from doing previous projects, and I just thought, oh, they look nice. But I'll be using those as well when I do the other book. I will be using those in the other book as well. So I will show you, but I'm going to take my time with the big book. This is kind of, for me, like a bit of a trial run of using these dies. It's really a trial run, and you're seeing this trial run, like I say, as I'm doing it. So I do apologise if I'm making mistakes. It's just literally because I'm not planning. I'm doing these off the cuff, and like I say, I've never used them. Okay, so that is our closure. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off camera and I am going to cut this because excuse me, I'm going to cut this down because it's going to drive me crazy if I don't. I can't. I just, like I say, if you're anything like me, OCD, then you won't. You'll be like me. You won't. That will drive you mental. So I'm going to come off camera, and I'm just going to cut that down and turn it round the other way, and then I will be back to put it together. Right, everyone, I am back. I am back. I couldn't leave it like that. I just couldn't. So, anyways, at least you get to see how these are cut out. So I've just cut another one. Now, what I should really do, to be honest, to even it out, is cut another one on the opposite side. That's what I really should do, because you're going to have a little bit of an uneven weight. So if you do make a mistake, I'm quite lucky because I kept these back bits plain. So I am quite lucky in that respect. So I can just literally go in now. Do you see? I've just cut that down. So I can go in now and rectify it. Okay, this is actually quite good. Shall we make a pocket while I'm here? Let's make a pocket, and we'll do a pocket here. So we'll do a square sort of pocket so we can put something in the top there. Now, like I say, to even it out, let me just concentrate. To even this out on the opposite side, and if you do make a mistake like I have, you should really do the same for this one, for this side. Cut it down and do what I've just done, okay? Because that's going to be a bit more weighty now, and plus now we've got a little, where are we? A little pocket at the top here, okay? We've got a little pocket. But that's better. See, otherwise it would have just driven me mad. So that's, you know, like I say, we do sometimes make a few little mistakes here and there, but I'm keeping them in. I'm not embarrassed, you know, I'm not a professional and I'm not embarrassed either. We all make them. Oh, and now I've left my scoreboard in the other room. This must be the most, it feels like the most disorganised tutorial I think I've done. Right. Now we're going to put this all together, okay? We're going to put this all together and we're going to bring our scoreboard in for this, because I think it's going to be better if you use your scoreboard. And I'm also just going to cut that one down a smidgen, because we don't need all of that on there like that, okay? So I'm going to come in here. I'm just aware of where we are, okay? Now all I'm doing is I'm just going to score a line. I want this to look, you've got your little ridge here, okay? You've got your little ridge here. So just bring it 3 millimeters, I would say. Well, not even that, 2 millimeters off the line. So you've got a little bit more of a ridge, and then just score down the side, okay? I think that's how we're going to do it, aren't we? No, we're going to do it. Yes, we are going to do it that way, because you need to have it square. So we're going to score down that line there. I'm going to measure it up, turn it over, and then make another score. That's it. That's better. And then now we've got a nice neat, we should have a lovely neat fold there. Yes, that's nice. In fact, I like that. Now, let me just make sure I'm going the right way. Now we're going to bring in, let's move that. Now we're going to bring in, I'm going to do the same actually on this side, because I quite like that idea. That just gives it a little bit more of a square. It just gives it a little bit, it just, how can I explain it? It makes it neater. So you're just putting a line down here, and then you're coming in, you're coming in and you're measuring up. I quite like that, it's much better. And then popping that there on top, do you see? To line it up, neatly. Then we're going to turn it over. Oh, I've gone a little bit off there. Let's do that again. Making sure you're, here we go, making sure that you're getting that neat. Really hold that down. Really hold that down. And then you're going to score a line. Quite like that. That's nice, that is. And then you should have a nice, you see it's nice and even, okay? Now we're going to stick it down, but before I stick it down I'm going to make sure it's in the right place, and I would recommend you would do that, because otherwise, I have to leave that way. Yes, we are in the right place. Hurrah! Just pop that down there again and just neatening it up, making sure it's all level. Can you see? All level, all neat, all centered. That's the word I'm looking for. All centered. And then we're going to do again what we did yesterday, pop our glue here. Okay, let's try another one. Got a little bit of a drop nozzle there, so we're gonna, I didn't want to, there we go. So that's one stuck down on that side, and then another one stuck down on this side. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that should make it nice and neat before it completely sticks down. Quickly turn it over and check it, and check it. I actually quite like that with the little ridge in there. I mean, I don't know if that's going to have a bit more of an effect. Maybe it might, you know, whether it, maybe you shouldn't do it because it may weaken it slightly, I'm thinking, but I quite like that. It just looks visually quite neat. Okay, so that's that stuck down. So that's how the base. So we've got two pockets where we can put bits in. It's just, we can put, you know, or whatever it is that we've, let's just bring that up. There we go. Just pop our little, you know, bits and bobs in there. Okay, so those are our pockets. We'll keep one of those in there like that. That looks pretty, doesn't it? So these are for pockets, you know, for your photo mats. We'll slide those in there. So now we're going to put our closure in. I've kept these plain because I didn't quite know what I wanted, because I really like these papers, you see. You will do, you know, what visually is good to you. So now we're going to take our top part that we did with our magnet, and we're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to bring in our scoreboard. If you know, you don't have to have a massive scoreboard to do these. You can have a really small scoreboard. This is just, obviously I've got this scoreboard. So, oh, we're just going to line that up. I'm just going to, can you see that? I'm just lining it up and making sure that it is really neat and straight. And I think I'm just going to cut this off a bit neater because it's not quite straight there. So this is where you would need to really use your scoreboards. You know, your use your cutting boards, use your guillotines to make sure that that is really straight. I just had a look there and I'm just looking to see if that is. I do have to say I eyeball a lot. I do eyeball a lot. I tend not to, you know, you will get a much neater finish though if you're using your guillotines and you're measuring it correctly. But I do tend to eyeball a lot of my stuff. So we're wanting it so that it's nice and centered, so that it's nice and straight. And also because I'm using a cream card and a dark card, you're really going to see that. You are really going to see this edge. So it really is important that it is lined up and that it is neat. And I am quite happy with that. So we're going to turn it over and you are really going to press down there, okay? And then we're going to go in and we're going to score down one side and score down the other side and bring that over, okay? And bring that over again. And then we're going to turn it over, just double checking. That's visually just double checking that is nice and as straight and neat as you can get it on these edges. And I am, again, I'm quite happy with that. And then you're just going to glue that. Oh, if I'd taken the same one out. Some days you win, some days you lose. And I'm definitely having one of those days today. Okay. Well, at least we've rectified it, eh? At least we have rectified our mistakes. And if you do make a mistake, like myself, you are now going to know how to rectify that mistake. See? Just got a little, okay. It's not a major, I've just got a tiny bit of an edge there. Again, it's going to drive me nuts. It will. There you go. So that just shows you, you can take this off. So if you, again, this is it. If it doesn't go, if you're not happy, it's a little bit out, there you go. You can take it off before it dries. So actually it's a good idea that I'm showing you this, because you know that you can do it yourself. So there you go. That's why you use wet glue. It's a must. It is an absolute must to use wet glue. So we have got there in the end. I apologise for today. I don't know, I think I'm a little bit tired. I've just gone away with myself with these dies. I don't think I've stopped using them at all. But that's our next page, okay? So we've got our magnet. Like I say, I've kept them pretty plain. Remember, you are going to back these. I ran out of grey card to back them with, but you are going to back these underneath, okay? And then we've got this going this way and that going that way, okay? So let's pop that in our book. Now, I actually think I had that set up completely differently before. I actually had it, I know I did. I actually had it so that it was going the opposite way. So we've got these here like that, but I did actually have it so that the smaller ones were coming out the other side that way. But you could do another two here and bring them in. You've got enough room on this one. You have enough room on this one. Remember our gaps, you've got plenty of room on this one to do. This is the middle page, okay? This is your middle page at the top. You have plenty of room to put lots of stuff onto this middle one, okay? So it's just to let you know. But I've kept them plain. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick that in our book with glue that works. Making sure we're putting them the right way. So we've got there in the end. So there you go. That shows you how you can, and like I have just done, get it wrong. And even me, who's been doing these and I have been doing them a long time, like I say, I'm no professional, and I keep saying it, I'm just like you. I'm just like everybody else out there. I'm not a professional. You know, if I had these tutorials all done up, then I'm sure I could make myself look completely professional. I have, to be fair, I have actually been crafting, for years and years and years and years. So there's no excuses really. I shouldn't be making mistakes like that at all. I really shouldn't, but hey ho. You're not going to make them now, and if you make them, then you'll know how to rectify them, right? So if you do what I've done, now you're definitely going to know how to rectify it. Do make sure your hands are nice and clean as well. You're going to do yours neatly. You're going to take your time with yours, because I've just got some little marks on there. Don't worry. Don't worry. That's another thing with working with grey card. It's not very forgiving, okay? It really isn't very forgiving. So make sure that your hands are clean, because if you get glue on it, although glue, and it doesn't matter what glue you use, it make no difference. It doesn't matter. If you get it on the grey, it's, like I say, it's not going to be as forgiving, okay? So we now have our third page, okay? There we go, our third page of our book. So we're getting there. So we've now got another couple to do. Now, I'm going to do two, I think, tomorrow. I'm going to do two tomorrow. There we go. I'm going to do two tomorrow to show you, to put here, because we want this uniformed. These 3 pages, if you remember in Jodie's tutorial, she said these pages need to really be uniformed, because these are the ones that are going in on each other, you know. So when you open it out to a spread of 3 like that, it's nice to have it uniformed. So tomorrow we're going to do, where are we? if I can get this out. Come on, little paper. Tomorrow we're going to do 2 pages because they are quite simple. And remember, I'm just having a look because I've got to remember we're going to do our next 2 pages tomorrow. Oh. So it's all going to be nice and uniformed, okay, because these are our 3 pages. I think, yes, this one we're fine with. I'm just looking to see. This one has to be flat because this one hasn't got, if you look, the 1.5 centimetre gap there. So we're going to keep that flat, and we're going to keep, I think this one's going to have to be flat. Yes, so these 2 on your outer edges are going to have to be flat. So we're going to do these ones tomorrow, and then after that, I think we've only got 1, 2, 3 more pages to do. 3 more pages, okay? So we're going to get a little bit more adventurous with the last 3 pages. These ones are all going to be uniformed, so we're going to do those ones tomorrow. So I will do the next pages, and hopefully we can get this book finished for the weekend, and then we can maybe move on to doing the bigger book with all the other layering dies, which I thought might be nice. So stick with me. I do apologise, but listen, we all make mistakes, and like I say, it's good sometimes to see mistakes being made so you know how to rectify them. And I like that idea. You know, we're not all perfect and we don't all craft perfect, and everybody does get things wrong. It happens, you know, it does happen. We are all human. So hopefully if you do get these things wrong, or you've done it a little bit like I've done it, or you've gone wrong, hopefully I've showed you ways that you can rectify it. And I'm keeping this up. I'm not going to bin this. I'm keeping this up so you can see if there's anything, you know, if you go wrong, you're like, oh, okay, I went wrong, but I can rectify this. And again, I will say exactly what Jodie does. Jodie says, work off your book. And it's really important to work off your book and then stick it in, because if you don't, and then you make a mistake and it's already in your book, then, I mean, listen, you can always rectify things. There's always, pretty much always, a way of rectifying something. So, you know, and we learn by mistakes. Right, I'm waffling now. So I will see you tomorrow, and we will come in and we will finish these 2 pages, and then hopefully we'll get the next 3 pages done, and I will do that completely over this weekend. So have fun crafting, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.